welcome, and thank you for coming to Durango Diaries. Sponsored by Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad Brew Train tonight, and we thank them for making this possible. A quick rundown on tonight. We're going to give each of these guys 10 minutes to talk about craft brewing. They all come from unique perspectives on that. Paul Black. He grows hops on 1.5 acre field known as Pine River Hops, which is part of El Bar J Ranch near Bayfield. He produced his own first harvest in 2014 and works with brewers in Durango, Bayfield, Silverton, Pagosa Springs, and Albuquerque, selling his hops. He will discuss how he started growing hops and the labor of love that is Pine River hops.
Thank you guys. I'm Paul Black again. Thank you guys for all coming out, and pretty honored to be speaking up here with all these fellas too. This is awesome. So I'll start off just kind of telling our little story, what we got going on, and how it all came to now. So quite a few years ago, when I took the position to be manager out at the ranch, we were looking at trying to diversify the ranch, and we were basically just doing cattle and hay, and we needed to do something more. And during that process, we were mitigating weeds, and a guy walking down the road stops and goes, "Hey, why are you guys spraying Roundup on your hops here?" And we went, "Whoa, what are you talking about? What's hops?" And he goes, "That's what you make beer with. You get your bittering, your aroma out, all that stuff." And he just sat there and kind of educated us. He said, "Yeah, this is what you're looking for. This is what all these brewers want." And we had no clue. So with that, we started doing some more research and started looking in, and it was right in the time of a kind of a shortage with hops. And we said, man, if they're growing here, let's see if we can do this a little bit better and a little bit bigger scale. So we jumped into it, planted 1.5 acres of hops, talked to a lot of the brewers, kind of figured out the top 3 hops that kind of grew that they used and that grew well here in Colorado. And really just put it in there and went away with it. Started watering them, and learned real quick that we should have done some things a little differently. Should have done some more research, but we really worked hard. Found out that there's a lot of labor into it, a lot of time goes into it, but it is a lot of reward. It's a great, fun little project that we've had going. So it took us a couple years in the beginning. We really worked hard at it and didn't get anything out of it. We're going, well, this might have been a fail, but we kept at it, kept going, and we changed it around a little bit, and started mitigating some of the grasses that were taking it over. And eventually, all of a sudden, man, they just started taking off and growing. And they would grow like 1 foot to 1.5 feet a day. It was amazing. I mean, you could literally watch it out there growing. We've got our trellis systems right about 20 foot tall, and by the end of the fall, I mean, it's kind of romantic. You walk through there and it just sways through there, and you get some good smells going. And we also have a wedding venue just past where the hops grow, so everybody comes in and they're like, what in the world do you have here? So we kind of dual purpose it. It works good. But we worked quite a few years to get them growing. Once they got growing and we started getting hops and everything, then we go, wow, we got to harvest these. How do we do that? So there really wasn't any kind of harvesters or anything around here, so we ended up getting in touch with a guy down in Paonia, actually north of us, and they had kind of a makeshift harvester that they had started and never finished. So we got it from them, brought it down, put some ranch time into it, and got it going and did our first harvest, and it worked great. We got them all down, got them dried out, and we had them as all whole leaf cones, and we said, man, we got hops now. We can go and sell to these brewers. And we really started talking to the brewers and stuff, and they're like, that's great. We'll try 2 pounds of it. And we really learned real quick, hey, we got to get another process done, and we got to figure out how to get these to the form that these brewers really like to use. And that was a big piece of it. You could send them up to the Northwest and have it done, but when you only have like 1,000 pounds, they kind of say, well, we sweep that off the ground. We don't normally worry about that. So ended up getting in touch with a guy up in the Front Range, and he's going through engineering school and developed his own pelletizer, and we worked with him. I'd take my hops up there after they're dried and baled. He started pelletizing them, came out as a great product, and that was when we first were able to take a product to the brewers and say, hey, this is it. Will you guys try it, see what it comes out to? And it started working good. The brewers were happy, and it was a kind of finally a satisfying thing after all those years of working at it. And now we can kind of look at it, and now we're kind of just finalizing it and getting it to be a better process. Another thing that we found out with our elevation and our kind of climate is we're getting a little bit different numbers off the hops of what traditional hops are, with our varieties. And that's been a really fun aspect of it as well, because the brewers are taking it and say, hey, we're going to get some out of Washington, and we're going to get yours, and we'll do a brew right next to each other and see if there's a different character to it. And there is. It's been a little bit different flavors, a little bit kind of fun to play around, so they're having a good time with it. The hops that we were originally trying to kill on the property, we did some more research on those, and we actually found out through the story who homesteaded it. It was an old German man, and he actually planted an orchard there, and he also put in hops. So I'm assuming he was a drinking man. And so now we're taking those, what we call the homestead hops, and we're going to go through the process and try and do some DNA testing and see if we can trace those back. And hopefully we have something there. But that's been a really neat little piece to it as well, kind of playing around with it. And I do have to say the brewers have educated me a ton on it, because, like I said, I walk in with this, I'm like, hey, you guys can brew with this, and they kind of laugh at you like, nah, you bring us something else. So it's been great, and I think it's really kept me stocked in beer, and I've been enjoying it really well. So that's what we've been doing, and it's been great. So.